Hey, thanks for joining us over here on Quack Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less. And today,
guaranteed or double your money back. Why are you being rude to me like that?
Today, this is our Monday Musings series where we have conversations with you, the audience. We try to figure out the quandaries that we're presenting ourselves with. And considering that the December time period is the slow season, and January is immediately ramping up again with some amazing projects.
Kind of ridiculous.
We want to talk about your board game / Kickstarter budget for 2023. We're producing a lot of content looking forward about the stuff that's coming down the line, and there is a lot of stuff to be excited about.
There is a lot of stuff to be excited about, and things that are very, very high dollar exciting.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about how we think you should think through and approach and plan to maybe be on a bit more of a budget this next year, while at the same time being able to celebrate and enjoy the hobby that we have.
Yes, first things first, don't outspend your budget. If you're putting stuff on credit cards to buy these things, that is dumb. Don't do it, okay? If that's your lifestyle and you want to do that, that's fine. But we're saying the average person,
it's not fine. Dave Ramsey would not say that it's fine.
Yeah, well,
we're not
Dave
gonna,
Ramsey
no,
is
we're
correct.
not going to come on here. We're not going to say that it's fine. You should not.
You shouldn't be putting
despite the fact
games
that we
on.
both do,
but don't.
You
be
should
us.
not be buying anything, let alone a board game with a credit card.
Correct.
Especially backing Kickstarter projects. And the reason for that is you are giving them cash. And cash is your greatest asset.
Yep.
You're giving them cash for an extended period of time.
Maybe 2 years or more.
For you to get a return that might be okay in the future that you could just buy at the point that it comes. Your cash on hand, if you have access to it, is the thing that will help you actually have that extra money to purchase the game when it comes in.
Right.
So credit cards are out. Let's talk about the actual budget.
Yeah.
What is it reasonable to spend? And this is the way that we were going to break it down.
Right.
We think you should have a monthly stipend, a monthly budget.
This is how much you get.
Which we're not going to give you a hard number, but we are going to look at the amount of games you actually need. So a monthly budget for games, and then you should give yourself permission for one.
Right.
Ish, something like that.
Yeah.
So we have a concept here of lifestyle games. Lifestyle games are games that are the thing that you just spend on. For me, it's Kingdom Death Monster. If Kingdom Death launched a campaign tomorrow with a $20,000 pledge level down in the bottom of it, I would be doing videos begging you for money so that I could back at that level. It's not because it's good for me. It's not because I need all that content. It's because I'm addicted and I have not yet resolved that habit, right?
Yep.
You're allowed to have one of those.
You are.
And I would even venture to say every year you're allowed to try and buy one of those. It doesn't mean you'll actually get to it. But it means that like if an Oathsworn comes out, I'm allowed to back that. And that's at a minimum about a $500 to $800 purchase.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking
at a minimum.
We're talking Marvel Zombies. We're talking all in on Marvel Champions.
Yeah.
One of these big box games that we know we all love.
Right.
Give yourself permission for one of them.
So we'll take that one off the table now. Now let's talk about the rest.
The reason for one is because you won't be able to play more than that.
Yeah.
So don't buy more than that. You don't need more than that. One a year is about the maximum that you can legitimately work your way through. And if you want to disagree with me, I want you to look at what has arrived this last year. And if you can tell me the 2 or 3 full lifestyle games, full 60 to 120 hours.
Yeah, the Massive Darknesses, the Tainted Grails.
If you can tell me you have played and enjoyed and explored them thoroughly and you're ready to move on, or played it to the point where you're done with it.
Fair.
I will give you permission for more. But if you cannot give me those names, you should not get more than that.
Agreed. You definitely shouldn't get more than that.
All right, now let's talk about the month-to-month, though.
Yeah, I think month-to-month, you need to look at your own personal budget and decide what makes sense for you. But I think on average, you're looking at probably about $200 to $400 maximum.
Yeah, well, and it's not about the money as much as it is about the games coming through the hobby space. So I want to split this up into how you enjoy the hobby. There's two core ways to enjoy the hobby that we have.
Yes.
One is getting, receiving, and owning the stuff, and the other is playing the stuff. And so in the art of getting, receiving, owning, being part of that community...
Having beautiful calyxes full of gorgeous boxes.
That's where Kickstarter fits into this.
Oh, yeah.
Kickstarter should be limited to a game, maybe two a month.
Yeah.
The reason being, and the reason why you should put that hard cap on, is because over the course of a year, backing 12 to 20 projects...
Yeah, that's a lot.
is a lot of games to be outstanding, and most people burn themselves out on Kickstarter
very quickly.
You buy everything immediately. You buy 17 games in a month and a half, and then you realize you own none of the games. It's very exciting for them to come in.
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah, and most campaigns nowadays are running for an average of about 15 to 24 days, right? That's a good habit. Any campaign that is running lower than that either has a time crunch due to like an IP law or their own schedule, like they do 4 quarters of Kickstarters, and they don't have a big window, or they're trying to bait you into spending money that you're not entirely sure you should. You should probably second guess. You should probably take a break on that. You should probably take a step back, because when push comes to shove, you should really be backing a Kickstarter, maybe 2 a month, if you want to have a healthy relationship with this hobby.
Yeah.
And that's where the other side of the conversation comes into, of actually playing the games. This is where you determine what you should actually be spending.
Yeah. If you actually play 2 new games a month, then there's an argument to be made that you can back 2 new games a month on Kickstarter.
You could buy, you could buy 2 new games outside of Kickstarter is its own separate thing.
Yeah.
1 to 2 Kickstarter games a month, sure. But let's talk about actually now owning and playing. This is the direct retail. This is the stuff that's arriving. This is the Kickstarters that you should have backed 2 years ago that are coming in now that you're excited about.
Yes.
This should be directly correlated with the amount of stuff you're playing.
Yes, if your shelves are complete with a whole bunch of beautifully shrink-wrapped items, then you probably don't need to continue to buy more and more games every single month, because you're not getting through the stuff that you already have.
And the whole point of owning the beautiful things is because they're promising us experiences that we can have. It is because we want to play them. And no one's saying that you're wrong for wanting, or wrong for buying, or wrong for owning, but when you really look at our hobby space, there's a lot of consumerism, there's a lot of owned products, and there's a lot less play happening. I think new games coming in, like literally going to Target and purchasing and picking up new games, that should be directly tied with the amount you're playing. If you play 5 games a week, great. You could justify 5 new games coming in a week.
Absolutely.
I don't think you need that much, because then we get into the conversation of playing a game multiple times. But either way, if you play 2 new games a month, if that's what your game group's able to do while still playing through your backlog, while still enjoying the hobby, you can bring in 2 new games. Because, remember, the collector side of this hobby is filled with the crowdfunding stuff. Those things, after 6 months to a year, are going to start arriving to you, and so you're naturally going to be gifting yourself presents. It's just past you that was doing it for future you,
which is great of future and past you.
Do not get into the habit of satiating present you with an overflow of games, because that will carry into future you that is now getting Kickstarter games, purchased games, unplayed games, and all of this will make the hobby space overwhelming. It'll make your finances hard to manage. You know, and we're not talking to we're kind of talking to, but we're not really talking to the, I have so much money I can sneeze and not care type of person. Different. We're talking to me.
We're talking to the average person, the person who's got 3 kids, house debt, multiple cars, lots of insurance, and they're making it, but they're not doing.
I don't have multiple cars. You have one car that you've driven your entire life. Close to 300,000 miles. I've never had a different one. And realistically, if we're going to have an honest conversation, my board game budget for the next year should likely go to purchasing a new car.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not going to. Because why? I don't know. Because I love the hobby space, and it's irrational. That's why we're having the conversation with you.
Exactly.
So listen to us or don't. Let us know your strategy and your approach.
Yeah.
But that's our thought going into this new year. For how you should plan this. And you really should.
Budget.
You should write this down on paper. You should write down the amount of games you're going to commit to play, how much you're going to come in, what the consequences and the benefits are for getting more games to the table or less games to the table. And you should give yourself some freedom to also enjoy the space.
Yeah.
Like, allow yourself to love a little. Like, that's fine. That's okay. But only a little.
Only a little.
You don't need a new romantic interest every single month.
Please don't.
Let's get into a really good marriage compact with at least one big lifestyle game.
And then allow yourself a hall pass.
Once a year.
Okay? A once a year hall pass.
Hey, listen, if Margot Robbie shows up, I don't think Cher is going to be upset.
You don't think so?
Yeah, that or Brad Pitt.
Ooh, Brad Pitt. Yeah.
He is gorgeous.
Yeah, there's a man crush, but mine is Reynolds.
For me, it's the chiseled like waistline, where they wear like loose fitting jeans and you can just see the muscles going.
Yep, that's because I'll never have that.
Never. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.